Oh yeah.
Hunter, shut up. All right. All right. Next thing we're going to be discussing is looping. Now, looping is one of the last parts of the what would I call that? The sales process. The whole the smoke screen, assuming objection, boxing in, handling the objection, looping, and then I think looping is the last one because then the pullback. But okay. All right, next thing we're going to be discussing is looping. Now, looping is the second to last part of the sales process. And by sales process, I mean smoke screen, assuming the objection, boxing them in, overcoming the objection. Now we're at looping. So what looping is when, if you guys remember back to the straight line persuasion, your job is to move somebody across that straight line. If you bring them from A to Z, this is the close. Now, when you are bringing them across that straight line, it's not going to be the perfect sale. If you're right here and they hit you with an objection, you cannot keep going until you handle that objection. So if, for example, I say, hey, how's it going? I'm the area manager out here with APA. Who's APA? Oh, we're just the ones running the energy reports in the area. I didn't tell them who APA was, so they're not listening to me. So if I keep going on with my pitch, they're not as receptive. So I need to overcome that objection, loop back to where I left off in my pitch, and keep going. And that's essentially what looping is being able to go right back to where you started in your pitch. Once they take you off the line and they're trying to ask questions and shit, you're going to loop back into your pitch and you're going to keep going with it. So um, as you move farther along the straight line, your loops will keep getting tighter and tighter because there is less rejections and less objections for as why they're not doing this. So what's APA? Oh, they got me right here. Yep, Atlas Power Lines. We're the ones out here helping maintain the grid. I'm gonna loop back, and then yep, and then so now that they're cool, they understand who we are. We're just the ones running the energy reports. Now I keep going with my pitch. Now they'll be like, hey, it's too much money. Totally. Aside from that, was there any other reason as to why you guys weren't interested in at least seeing a free proposal? No, that was really it. Gotcha. Well, I hear you. To be honest, it really doesn't make a whole lot of sense to have to spend money to save money. And now what I'm doing is I'm looping back. Did you by chance hear about that new program where the state will cover all the costs, put the panels up for you guys at no charge? No, I haven't. Oh, well, yeah, pretty much the way the program works. Now I'm looping right back onto it. Have you heard of Sunrun before? The way it works with Sunrun is essentially as long as home qualifies. Now, as you can see, I'm bringing them right back onto the pitch and onto the straight line, right where I left off. What you want to do is you want to give them something new to take into account with every loop you do. Because if, for example, you give them everything you got about the program and then they say no and they give you resistance, what else are you going to be able to give them? And that's why keeping your powder dry is crucial. With every new loop you do, you want to give them something new to take into account and to chew on. So as your loops get tighter and tighter, you're going to be able to handle more, or there's going to be less stuff holding them back because as you're knocking that off and you're moving along, they're going to have less resistance. And then you'll get to the end where they'll have one little question, you'll handle it. That'll be a really small loop. You won't have to do too much. And then you'll be able to take it off to the races because every time you're looping back, you are doing one of the three tens. They need to love you, they need to love your product, and they need to love your company. So let's just say that when they hit you with an objection, there's a reason why they're giving you the objection. Let's say it's too much money. They didn't understand yet that it's free, so they don't love your product. So when you loop back, you handle that, and you bring the product up to a 10. And then let's say as you're moving it along and they give you another objection, you got to figure out why they're objecting. If it's you, your company, or your product. So when you loop back, you're going to be handling their objection, but also giving them more information to take into account. Sunrun's the number one largest solar provider. They partner with the state to where they can get you guys the panels for no money out of pocket, things like that. So now they feel more comfortable about the company. They know about the product. And then if it's you, the way that you can get yourself to a 10 is by developing rapport with them, by being that figure of authority to where they trust you. You have to always bring all three up to a 10, and then you're off to the races. And yeah. Please, thank God. Okay.